Set in the Seoul regional district of Gangnam, the place of sparkling lights at night, it is bustling and noisy during the day, but accompanied by social problems. There are more and more scandals and mysterious missing. The problem smarting is made clear in the most boisterous city of South Korea. A group of people is breaking a door. The captain is Kang Dong-woo, an honest detective who hunts drug traffickers. They entered the nightclub right after breaking the door, the lights flashing and sexy girls dancing. Dong-woo ordered his partner to turn on the normal light as he saw many people using drugs. Ji-soo announced to catch those who are using drugs. Dong-woo went to the basement and saw someone in the fire. He had a fight with them when they were running away. Dong-woo cramps the man up, giving him no chance to run. Taking off the mask, he figured out that Jang-ho is trafficking drugs. He begged Dong-woo not to put him in jail as his family needs his feed. They can't live without him. Jang-ho claims that it's the first time he trafficked drugs. Captain Kang shouldn't mess with them, because the dangerous criminals are related. 3 years later, there is a girl applying makeup. She walks into the most boisterous bar in the country. She brings drug there. The blonde guy carried it to the VIP room. When Jae-hee is getting high, she receives a warning. She gets into the bathroom and throws up. Jae-hee brings herself to senses by slapping her own face. Jae-hee sends Young-hwa a warning of danger, asking her to run, because they'll be screwed. When she gets out, the bodyguard surrounds her. She crosses the busy road to escape. Yoon Gil-ho is an expert in solving problems at the entertainment centers. He is looking for someone in a casino. He finds Jin-young lying there. She just used drugs. He carries her to the car. He overhears drug traffickers in the alley. He beats up the trafficker with a bat, as he did warn him not to deal drugs there last time. Driving to the bar, Jin-young can't get to work as she is worn out. The errand boy told Gil-ho that Jae-hee fled away the previous night. She disappeared. Everyone is out there looking for her. Moreover, he couldn't reach Young-hwa on the phone. He doesn't know what happened to them. Jae-hee heard a sound when she's trying to contact Young-hwa. Peeping through a hole, she hears someone's steps, then holds a knife. When she attacks, she realizes that is Gil-ho. The next morning, Captain Kang was sitting on the rickshaw. It's his day off. He sees a patrolman dealing with a car accident. The driver seems to be drunk. The patrolman tells Dong-woo that the driver is the second grandson of the mayor. Captain Kang won't let him go no matter who he is. The driver stops Dong-woo from checking on his trunk. He gives Dong-woo a few banknotes. Dong-woo refuses to take it. He tears the bag of pigs feeding, finding the drugs inside. Captain Kang entrusts the task to the police. The driver gets mad and punches Captain Kang. However, he is no match to Captain Kang, gives him a lesson and takes him to the police station. At that time, Moon Chol-sung is entering the station and calling Kang at the same time. They have a talk together. Commissioner Moon uses his power to transfer Kang away from this small town. Kang will be transferred back to Gangnam for work, searching for missing cases in Gangnam. He reads the news that Jae-hee is hiding, receiving a phone call from the hospital. Kang immediately sets off there. He shows Kang how Yeseo loses her control and hurts herself. Sitting next to his daughter, Kang sees the self-harm scars on her wrist. Also, he notices a tattoo behind the scars. His wife comes. They get to another room and exchange words. She reminds him that when Yeseo was blackmailed by sex workers, he was too busy hunting the addicts. They tried to end Yeseo's life by pushing her off the building. That meant those sex workers did manipulate Yeseo. Getting back to the office, Kang receives a message from his daughter. She wants him to take her home tomorrow when she is discharged from the hospital. At the same time, Gil-ho is questioning Jae-hee, yet she gives him no answers. Knowing that Jae-hee is worried about Young-hwa, he goes out to bring her there. On the way home, Yeseo asks her dad to help her find Jae-hee. Because she is missing, Yeseo is afraid that something happened to her friend. Dong-woo explains that he's busy at work. Yeseo gets bored of hearing about it, even though he says he is worried. He doesn't really care about her. So far, their father-daughter relationship isn't good. This time, they can't get closer. 1 year ago, Captain Kang was invited to his daughter's dinner with her best friend. Jae-hee wasn't happy when he came. When she was about to go home, Yeseo insisted her to stay. Kang gave Yeseo his card to order a drink. Then he talked to Jae-hee. Jae-hee criticized him and asked him not to act like that. She knew he wouldn't care what might happen to her. Jae-hee suggested him to treat his daughter better. He blamed her for taking Yeseo everywhere and wringing money from her. She didn't know what Yeseo had been through when she was pushed off the building. Couldn't hear what he said. Jae-hee left. Yeseo lashed out at her father and ran after her friend, returning to Gangnam police station. Detective Seo asks him for a talk. She blames him for what he had done. Actually, she is consoling him with some harsh words. They search for Jae-hee, who is missing. Kang showed Seo Ji-soo the photo of his daughter and Jae-hee. Seo felt very familiar with Yeseo's tattoo. She remembered 2 gangsters who was arrested for dark web. they were freed from jail 6 months ago, they are running a camera business. Seo Jisoo wants to catch those scumbags, so she reviewed the CCTV around the club again and again and found the girl with the same tattoo. Dong-woo also sees Gil-ho. 3 years ago when the police were arresting the drug users at a bar, a man was fighting with someone. Gil-ho was known as a driver for sex workers. He was beating the one who scrambled for a passenger. At that time, Dong-woo let Gil-ho go because he didn't want to waste time on a driver. Prosecutor Min claimed about the license plate checking. They couldn't find the number or ID. Apparently, they lost the access right to such an important evidences. When the blonde guy got into his car, he locked the door as soon as seeing Gil-ho. Thinking that he can escape, he provokes Gil-ho when being asked for a talk. Getting made, Gil-ho breaks the glass with a knife in his hand, though he is beaten up by Gil-ho. He doesn't tell Gil-ho where Young-wha is. Before Gil-ho finishes him, the blonde guy gotta tell everything. Gil-ho smashed the blonde guy's hand with the car trunk lid. A guy with face tattoo forces Young-wha to serve VIPs. She can't believe there are so many people in the room. The guy with face tattoo shoves her to the ground. She gets so scared when a man in a snake leather shoes walk in. They party up with alcohol, stimulants, blood on the floor. Gil-ho comes and handles them all. He finds Young-wha's body in the pool. The VIPs took her life when they got high. Staff of Hanjin House Cleaning Service arrived to clean it up. It's a mess after a wild night. The leader doesn't see the body there. When the whole team is looking for the body, the phone suddenly rings. No Juneseo. A make idol is surrounded by fans who want to give him flowers and gifts. He is friendly with them, yet he changes his attitude when the door closes. He says they are the fools. Psyche calls him because the cleaning staff can't find the body. Couldn't believe in his ears. Psyche emphasizes that someone takes her body. Her body is gone. Juneseo asks Psyche to bring Jenny to them instead of talking nonsense, then hangs up the phone without hearing Psyche. Juneseo arrives at a place filled with his fans who are calling his name. He sniffs stimulants before getting off his car. When he feels much better, he brushes off the powder around his mouth. He then puts a smile on his face and begins to act. Wearing a high-end outfit, he greets his fans with a friendly face. Early in the morning, the janitor finds something strange on the bench at the subway. Under the blanket is a body of a young girl with bruises all over. She stopped breathing for a while. The janitor calls the police with tremble. At a certain police station, the station chief announces that a special force is founded under the order of a commissioner. They have to stay focused. The public pays attention to their action. When Kang Dong-woo comes, the chief introduces him to the others. According to the severity of the case, he is sent here to support the force. However, they don't care about him. When the chief left, Dong-woo asked the team leader about the autopsy and victim identity. He thanks Dong-woo for supporting them, yet, he and his team can't share any information with him no matter who sent him here. They hope he will come and go in silence. He smirks at him and goes out for lunch with his teammates. Dong-woo doesn't eat the bread of idleness. He calls Jisoo to ask about Jang-ho. Jang-ho doesn't pick up Dong-woo's phone. When Dong-woo calls again, Young-ho scolds him, because he's no longer Dong-woo's junior. Dong-woo comes to see Kim Jang-ho in person. As soon as he sees Dong-woo, he politely talks to the detective. Jang-ho is selling alcohol in Gangnam, which helps him earn more money than working as a police officer. Jang-ho's father wished his son could become a police officer, yet, Dong-woo strip off his title. Actually, Jang-ho always wants to enter the underworld. How many people have two dreams in life? Straight to the point, Dong-woo says he wants to have some juniors. He threatens Jang-ho with his appeal and his lackeys. Dong-woo asks Jwipo about the guy who left Young-wha's body at the subway. Under their threatening, Jwipo tells them this is Director Yoon, who is a famous businessman. However, he has never seen him. Many people are trying to track him down after he left a body at the subway. Yoon has two excellent henchmen. One of them was gone, so he closed his store and ran. Dong-woo asks about Jenny, whose real name is Jae-hee. Only those who have money can see her. Gil-ho's henchman gives him a big sum of money. As the whole Gangnam is searching for him, his henchman asks him to give them what they want and withdraw. Gil-ho will take Jae-hee to a safe place. Then he will find the one who dares to take his girl's life. On the way, he receives a call from Psyche, coming to see the blonde guy. He only cares if there's anyone in his car. Gil-ho beats the blonde guy until he tells him about Young-wha. The blonde guy lets him know that Juneseo will give him everything once he brings Gil-ho to Juneseo. Gil-ho wants to privately talk to Juneseo. Psyche reports to Juneseo, who is busy playing games. Juneseo warns him not to talk nonsense. Jae-hee gets so scared when she reads the news about the body at the subway. It isn't easy for her to escape from the warehouse. The window has been covered for a long time. Prosecutor Min clearly sees the man who left the body at the subway. She reports to her boss that Yoon Gil-ho, 45, as the only suspect. his position was near the crime scene and he was caught on the CCTV. Her boss agrees to make it a criminal case without further investigation. She goes to see Ju Yun because she doesn't agree with Ju Il. Ju Yun also wants to turn Gil-ho into the culprit. Jun Seo is beaten up Gangsu because he let Jae-hee escape. Jun Seo asks Saiki to throw a party which may help him find Jae-hee. When Gil-ho arrives, he sees a broken window and Jae-hee isn't there. Jun Seo asks to see him at the Yeoksam crossroad. Prosecutor Tak tells Seo Jin that they're on the same side. They all want to gain fame without difficulties. Prosecutor Min will dig into the case if she gives him something. However, Min Seo Jin brings nothing along. He goes straight to the point. At a nightclub, Jun Seo drops a pill in a drink and congrats Ju Yun on becoming a prosecutor. He gives Ju Yun an expensive watch and asks to him to help him find Jae-hee. Ju Yun agrees then left. Jun Seo sniffs stimulants and gets high. Dong-woo is willing to pay for anyone who finds Gil-ho. One of the sex workers let Dong-woo know that Gil-ho is going to Yeoksam crossroad. Gil-ho waits there but Jun Seo doesn't come. Saiki says he will let Gil-ho see Jun Seo once he gives Jae-hee to them. Gil-ho asks him to pay first. Saiki texts Jun Seo what Gil-ho asks for. Dong-woo and Jang-ho are waiting near the Yeoksam station. Jang-ho recalls their time before he was fired. They always did the mission on watching the criminals together. He leaves Dong-woo there to go buy some food. When a gang passes by in a car, Gil-ho is very angry when they keep hunting for a girl. Saiki just wants the girls in their videos. Gil-ho is stunned when Saiki talks about the videos. Seeing Gil-ho's expression, Saiki scolds Gil-ho. He also sends a message to Jun Seo that Gil-ho isn't with Jae-hee and he has no idea about the videos. Gil-ho feels like it's the reason why they took Younghwa's life. The gang arrives before Gil-ho hits Saiki. Gil-ho defends himself with a knife when the gang surrounds him. Ju Yun tells Min Seo Jin that he is going to catch the suspect. They can close the case before Saturday night by order of Prosecutor Tak. Gil-ho is fighting a gang all alone. Saiki shows Jun Seo the fight through a video call. More of them attacks Gil-ho when he gets hurt. At that time, Dong-woo arrives and rescues Gil-ho. Jun Seo sends more men to catch Gil-ho. Ju Yun also tells Seo Jin about the change of the destination. Once the suspect speaks, it'll be more complicated. Ju Yun only wants to make everything simpler. Jun Seo goes to see Gangsu at a private eatery. They are talking about their youth. After that, Jun Seo leaves. As soon as he leaves, a young girl comes and asks for Gangsu's autograph. When he lets his guard down, she cuts his throat. At that time, Jun Seo calls Mr. Choi and makes a deal. Dong-woo asks Gil-ho about Jae-hee, yet, Gil-ho knows nothing about her. Suddenly, two police cars are running after Dong-woo. When Dong-woo gets off his car, Ju Yun asks him not to stand in their way. Dong-woo wonders what he is talking about. Gil-ho gets off the car when Dong-woo is surrounded. Seeing that Gil-ho is seriously wounded, the police wants to catch him. Dong-woo tries to stop the police. What a dangerous situation for both of them, before Gil-ho jumps off the bridge. The police shoots him. Dong-woo points his gun at them and demands them not to shoot him again. Min Seo Jin arrives and sees Dong-woo protecting Gil-ho from the police. Taking the chance, Gil-ho jumps into the river to run from them. Dong-woo screamed when Gil-ho the police is examining the crime scene at an eatery. Dong-woo blames Prosecutor Min for making it worse. He calls his henchmen for founding a group. Professor Min questions her boss why he gives such an unreasonable order. He tells her about the murder in the downtown of Gangnam. The victim was stabbed multiple times. Gil-ho is crawling on the river bank. Prosecutor Min goes to see No Jun Seo at a nightclub. Though he knows she's finding for him, he still parties on the stage. After that, he apologizes to her for making her wait. When she asks about Gangsu, he admits to see him for an advice. He claims that he left the eatery soon. He feels so sorry for not taking Gangsu home. Jun Seo wonders if she goes to because Prosecutor Tak doesn't know she is there. Jun Seo talks about Prosecutor Tak as his close brother. Professor Tak wants her to help investigation this. After that, Jun Seo borrows her phone to take photos of something. He opens a chatting app that people in the profession use. He says she can find something interesting if she baits a trap. Then he asks her about Gil-ho. Moreover, he even tells her that wild animal lives longer than they expect. He already set up a game in the way he wants and hopes she'll keep in touch with him. Before leaving, Seo Jin asks him about Mr. Choi, who the victim called before his death. Jun Seo pretends not to know Chairman Choi, who is also a person in the profession. Prosecutor Min despises it when he gives her a sum of money. Checking on Jun Seo records, Seo Jin realizes that Prosecutor Tak approved it all. When her assistant gives her the profile of Jun Seo, she reports that the gun found near the victim belongs to Gil-ho. Dong-woo takes Jisoo to his new office. Though it's large and quiet, it's totally in the dark. Jisoo shows him the evidences that Jae-hee was with Younghwa when she was caught. They poses a question about where Gil-ho made the last call. Ji-soo thinks it might be a game center in a neighborhood. Dong-woo drives there to ask the residents there. He knows Gil-ho tells the truth when he gets inside. Gangnam commerce isn't put down when Dong-woo discovered them 3 years ago. They only changed the way of working. Ji-soo asked the nightlife experts about the blonde guy. He had a day off on the day Younghwa was murdered to on a trip or something. If they find him, they may learn more about Jae-hee or Younghwa. Suddenly, he posts a new photo, checking in South Korea. Dong-woo immediately sets off there. When he leaves, Gil-ho enters to treat his wound. Young-kwan calls after Gil-ho and asks his friend to be careful because someone else just lost his life. Not to worry about Jae-hee, who is a very strong woman. When they first saw her, she knocked down 2 men to take back her tip. That was why Madame Beck accepted to give her a job. From then on, Gil-ho's mission is to protect her. Many times, Jae-hee returned with a bloody face and a wad of money. Gil-ho asked why she had to sacrifice so much to earn money. She said she needed enough money to relocate somewhere she could die in peace. Jae-hee wanted the same tattoo as Gil-ho's, which could cover her scars. That was how they became close friends. Until one day, they found Madame Beck's body when they returned. As they couldn't save her, they closed the business and found another hideout. At that time, Gil-ho held their lives in his hands. Dong-woo is finding the place where the blonde guy is. The blonde guy appears when they wonder whether they should get in. Jang-ho describes him as a jerk who spikes drinks of girls at nightclubs and takes them to the rich men. Jang-ho and Dong-woo follows him. Prosecutor Min goes to the subway and sees a suspicious girl sitting where Younghwa's body found. At this moment, her assistant reports that Younghwa and Gang-soo was stabbed with the same knife. As soon as Min Seo-jin mentions Lee Younghwa, the suspicious girl turns her head around, but when Seo-jin asks her, she is hesitant for a while and then leaves. Seo-jin sees a box of macaroon and a bouquet as a gift for her late friend. Dong-woo follows the blonde guy to a building where's the Cave of Demons, which is covered by a sign. Dong-woo and Jang-ho splits up to act by the order of Dong-woo. The underlings catch Jang-ho red-handed as soon as he finds lots of drugs there. Jang-ho knocked each of them out. One of them jumps up and tries to stab him. Ji-soo rescues him with a taser. She scolds him for not keen enough. Dong-woo handles the blonde guy. The blonde guy is going live in the room. Dong-woo covers the low-necked girls with shirts. He chases a man when he runs out of there. When he catches up, he realizes that is Ju-yun. Ju-yun's silence drives Dong-woo mad and he punches Ju-yun. Prosecutor Tak fires Ju-yun when he is caught for drug trafficking. Seo-jin doesn't think so. Someone like Ju-yun will definitely take revenge on them. That is why Tak assigned her with a task that makes sure he can't fight them back. Professor Tak orders her to focus on her tasks without caring about it. Min Seo-jin talks with Ju-yun. She advises him to confess, which helps him get a leniency. Ju-yun won't act without his superior's order. He wants to call his wife who might be really anxious. Because the prison wardens won't be easy on him, Ju-yun wants Seo-jin to transfer his message to Juna Seo. We have many things to say. He suppresses his anger and smiles, mischievously over here. Juna Seo receives a news that Tak has given up and asked for a watch to give his son. Tak promises not to let Juna Seo in danger alone. Psyche calls Juna Seo when Gil-ho crazily searches for him. After reporting the situation to Juna Seo, Psyche welcomes Gil-ho. Psyche wondered why a wanted criminal can go free. Psyche scares Gil-ho away by taking the police there. Ju-yun asks Seo-jin for a talk. She calls Dong-woo but he doesn't pick up the phone. Even when she tells Dong-woo in person about Ju-yun's intention to confess, he doesn't really care. Seo-jin knows he was wrongly punished 3 years ago, so she hopes he can share with her. Seo-jin can persuade Ju and close the case quickly. Dong-woo loses his belief. It is prosecutor Tak set it up. Dong-woo believes that Min Seo-jin leads the game. Seo-jin confirms that she gets nothing from it and professes herself the only one who can close the case. She tells him about the girl who brought offerings to the place where Younghwa's body found. As soon as hearing about Younghwa, she ran away. Dong-woo gets angry when she lets Jae-hee go. Seo-jin has to verify the evidences he has. Why were you with Gil-ho and protected him that night? As Seo-jin really wants to know, Dong-woo lets her know that Jae-hee, who is under Gil-ho's management, disappeared before Lee Younghwa was murdered. Especially, Jae-hee is his daughter's close friend. He can save his daughter once he finds her. Juna Seo asks Seo-jin to see him at a club for a gift. He just found the missing piece. Seo-jin is surprised when he caught Gil-ho. Juna Seo caught the one who Gil-ho would sacrifice himself for. Seo-jin asks him not to act spontaneously as Ju-yun told her everything. Yet, he knows clearly that Ju-yun said nothing at all. Juna Seo is even sure that the meeting tomorrow will be cancelled. Many prisoners want to take Ju-yu's life. Jun Seo will help her if she comes to see him at midnight, or else he'll send Jae-hee's body to the police station. The man who lost his teeth last year due to Joo-yoon already took his life with feud in the prison. Gil-ho receives a photo of a girl whose head is covered. If he's late, they'll destroy her face. Dong-woo wants to stop them by all means. Savage people like them will end his life once he appears. Prosecutor Min admits that Jun Seo allows her to join a chat group with Gil-ho. She begs Dong-woo to trust her despite her old mistake. They can approach Gil-ho through it. Jun Seo is introducing Jenny to his friends. All of them get excited when a girl is tied up. When Gil-ho is going to see Jun Seo, Seo-jin asks Gil-ho for a deal. She lets him know about Jun Seo's trap by sending a photo of the macaroon and bouquet that Jae-hee left. She knows he didn't murder Younghwa and hopes he'll stay alive to save Jae-hee. Min Seo-jin comes straight in. Saiki leads Gil-ho in through the back door. He hears that Prosecutor Min already arrives, so he lets Gil-ho go to see Jun Seo alone. Seo-jin still tries to convince Gil-ho. Jun Seo films the girl who is hanging up with excitement. The one who comes is Prosecutor Min, as expected. That girl isn't Jae-hee. Seo-jin decides to leave when Jae-hee and Gil-ho aren't there. Gil-ho hears through a call with Seo-jin. Gil-ho asks to see Dong-woo at the game center. There, Gil-ho tells him about an event. The VIPs made the girls do everything they asked. If any of them lost their lives, a team would come and dispose of her body. It's a cleaning up team. They recruit the nameless kids, runaway teenagers, and orphans. Gil-ho took Younghwa's body away before the cleaning up team came. He left her body at the subway to make the police dig into it. Gil-ho knew Jun Seo is hunting Jae-hee for what she has. Jae-hee is borrowing Oh Jin-young for a sum of money to decamp. Jae-hee asks her friend about Jun Seo and advises her to stay away from his arena. Little girls aren't smart enough to survive there. Jin-young wants to be his girlfriend so that he chases Jae-hee away. Prosecutor Tak is lashing out at Jun Seo for murdering the police. Jun Seo had to do it to save his folks. Also, he cleaned up everything to cover for Tak. Thus, he hopes Tak will shut up. By the way, Jun Seo demands Tak to re-educate his men, or get rid of Min Seo-jin and Dong-woo at least. He doesn't want his arena to be broken tonight. Tak urges him to find Jae-hee and kicks him out. Feeling helpless, Min and Dong-woo go to see Moon Chol-sung. Dong-woo believes that Prosecutor Tak is related to those criminals. Min Seo-jin is rejected though she tries so hard to persuade. Seo-jin lets them know that Tak will be transferred the presidential office soon. Dong-woo asks why Moon doesn't think of eliminating a dirty rival. Finally, he asks the chief inspector to interrogate Gil-ho. In the meantime, Tak is finding for Seo-jin. Jun Seo is chatting with his friends about tonight's gamble under the name of Thai and Chinese investors. He gathers big guys for the event. Jun Seo feels so good when they support his bet. When he's sniffing stimulant, Saiki gets in. Jun Seo pisses off as Saiki doesn't call his name. How rude. Saiki announces that Jin-young is waiting for him outside. Jae-hee just went to see her earlier. Dong-woo takes Gil-ho to see his hirelings who will protect Gil-ho. Dong-woo advises Gil-ho to be nice to them. They don't let Gil-ho go out. Gil-ho zips down and pees in front of them, which annoys them. Jin-young comes to see Young-kwan with wounds. Jun Seo's men follow her there and catch them. He hurts Young-kwan's eyes with his burning cigarette and beats him up. Dong-woo has confirmed that the CCTV system at the hotel was off when Gil-ho took Younghwa's body away, just as Gil-ho said. They turns off the CCTV system when the cleaning up team does their job. The team is from Hanjin Service Company. They come there once every month. The company's number doesn't exist. At that time, Gil-ho walks out. Dong-woo asks why Gil-ho knows Jae-hee. It's Yi Seo, Dong-woo's daughter, asked Gil-ho to find her. Dong-woo questions Gil-ho about her tattoo. Gil-ho wonders if Dong-woo has ever seen the burn on her wrist. Tattoo is better than the scar of cigarette ash. What was Dong-woo doing when Yi Seo underwent the pain? He leaves after questioning. Gil-ho remembers the first time he met Yi Seo. Jae-hee introduced Yi Seo as her best friend. Gil-ho stopped them from tattooing each other, but Yi Seo showed him her scars and requested him to cover it with a tattoo. Tak wants to call off the indictment as Joo-yoon was gone. Then he thanks Prosecutor Min. When Seo-ji walks out, she sees Moon shaking hands with Tak, so she tells Dong-woo that Moon is trying to protect Tak. Their wives were classmates. It's thought that they can't turn the table. Min Seo-jin requires a reporter of YTN to make up a story. Gil-ho will cause a scandal. Once their prostitution ring is reported on TV news, they can't do anything. Dong-woo believes that the girl's life will be screwed if it is exposed. They need evidences. However, in the subway, Jae-hee receives a message from Jin-young. They're taking her to the arena. She watches the video they hung Jin-young and Young-kwan upside down. In order to save her friend, Jae-hee decides to go to the arena after sharing it with Gil-ho. She hopes he can protect the others if she's gone. Jae-hee wants to end what she starts as long as Gil-ho can protect her family. When Dong-woo returns, Gil-ho is no longer there. He tells Dong-woo that he's going to the arena to save Jae-hee from the gathering of the jerks who bet on people's lives. In the basement of the hotel, Jae-hee appears as a beautiful girl. She bumps into a rich man on purpose to have him taken her to the arena. In the car, they watch Jun Seo's game. When Jae-hee is going to leave, the rich man holds her back. No worries, she brings a knife along. For men, including Young Kwon with an injured eye, is taken to the ring. Jae-hee takes the rich man's life when he's busy watching the fight. She finds her friend lying motionless. Dong-woo and Jang-ho aren't allowed to get in. Gil-ho comes for his best friend. At the same time, Jun Seo hears that Jae-hee just arrives. Dong-woo just drives straight into the garage, taking a chance of the chaos. Dong-woo and Jang-ho sneaks in first. Gil-ho puts on a mask and tries to rescue Young Kwon. Jun Seo asks Jae-hee for the video, yet it disappeared. He scratches her face with his knife and takes her to the stand. He challenges Gil-ho and lets the fighter teach him a lesson. At the point in time, the police arrives. Jun Seo grows cross when the police is there. The rich men take turn to leave the arena. A rich man is putting Jun Seo's game on his live stream. Jae-hee smiles when she thinks she can win for sure. Saiki leaves Jun Seo there and drives away alone. Gil-ho catches up with Jun Seo and asks about Jae-hee, thinking that she's murdered. He beats Jun Seo up. Seo-jin finds Jae-hee in a car and rescues her. Dong-woo prevents Gil-ho from taking Jun Seo's life. Gil-ho sighs with relief when she's still alive. After the fight, everyone gets back to work as usual. Jae-hee is protected by the police. Gil-ho is still on the run. Everyone is shocked by Jun Seo's suicide. Tak defends himself in front of the reporters. Seo-jin questions Tak why her documents were seized by the inspectors. Tak asks her to leave for keeping her job, which is a dream of many people. Dong-woo receives a call from his daughter when he is visiting Jae-hee. The speaker is someone else who warns Dong-woo not to go too far, because he doesn't oppose against Dong-woo at all. Yi Seo is kidnapped by Soo-in. 2 years ago when Yi Seo was sitting in the toilet, she overheard a talk of the bullies. She held a knife and opened the door to ran out. Getting no scared at all, they captured Yi Seo and wanted to burn her face. Jae-hee appeared and helped her out. She was about to scratch their faces. Jae-hee asked Yi Seo whether she should scratch their faces. However, Yi Seo was too scared to say a word. Yi Seo wondered why Jae-hee did it for her. Actually, Jae-hee didn't want to mess with them. It was her parents who didn't give her a chance to fight against the bullies. When Jae-hee left, Yi Seo asked her how to be stronger. One day when the bullies slapped Yi Seo around on the rooftop, she couldn't stand them any longer, so she waved a knife at them. Jae-hee came and chased them away. However, one of them turned around and pushed Yi Seo off the building. Unfortunately, she was the one who fell. Jae-hee cleaned the knife and reassured Yi Seo. Back to the present, Captain Kong finds 2 cars of Hanjin Service Company. He enters the building to find the company. However, it's just a normal room. No clues found there. Gil-ho wakes up after the fatal fight. Gil-ho can tell that someone treated his wound. Captain Kong visits Jae-hee and announces that they took Jin-young to a rehabilitation center. She seems a hard drinker, yet Gil-ho is missing. Dong-woo asks about the video where the criminals are hunting for. As she isn't stupid, she gave it to someone else. They go to a convenience store when Jae-hee wants to buy something. Jisoo announces Dong-woo that a team just begins to find his missing daughter. They can start with the last position. Jae-hee hears Kong talking on the phone. She pushes the cart and lets Dong-woo pay. When Jae-hee is making instant noodles, she hopes Dong-woo will take good care of Yi Seo. Sensing something wrong, Dong-woo turns around and sees her nowhere. Immediately, he gets through the back door to find her. He loses sight of her due to the heavy rain and crowd of people. Dong-woo requires Jisoo to check on the CCTV. Due to the heavy rain, it'll take her a few days to check on all the dash cams. Gil-ho sees Young Kwon when he is smoking. They grab a drink together. Young gives Gil-ho a card visit of a ferry boat. He wants Gil-ho to leave in the next few days because it's hard for him to get the job. There's nothing for him to do here. Jun Seo is gone and Jae-hee is safe. Gil-ho doesn't think it's an end. He doesn't believe that Jun Seo is gone. Kay is watching Soo-in slapping Jae-hee around. Kay demands Soo-in not to destroy Jae-hee's face. Kay knows she has a happy time with Gangnam guys. To welcome the beginning of the new host computer, he will turn her a gorgeous lead. A security finds Yi Seo in the park and takes her home in safe. Soo-in is helping Jae-hee cover the bruises on the face. They talk about the reason why she got hit earlier. When Jae-hee mentions Yi Seo, Soo-in tells her what happened when Yi Seo was kept there. Soo-in gives Jae-hee a key from a box and shows her the back door to get out. Soo-in will buy more time for her to go with Gil-ho to the farthest place from here. if Jae-hee runs away, they'll screw Soo-in. Jae-hee returns the key as she doesn't want to ran anymore. That what she should have done long time ago, yet, she has lengthened it. Captain Kong is very worried about Jae-hee. Jang Ho tells him about a link to the new deep web. Watching the live stream video, he notices something through the window. He remembers that when he came to the address of Hanjin Service Company, he saw the same view there. Kong immediately drives there. At the same time, Gil-ho receives a voice message from Soo-in before getting on the boat. Gil-ho gets off there without thinking. Dong-woo is finding for Jae-hee, yet, he only sees strange girls in the red room. Someone takes him down, yet, Dong-woo can easily knock him out. Dong-woo realizes this is the surveillance room. Jae-hee is going love and taking off her clothes. When he's off guard, Kay appears and gives him a punch. He even gives Dong-woo a shot of drug. Someone is coming when he is fainting away. Kay believes that Dong-woo sends Jae-hee there to save his daughter. Suddenly, Jae-hee breaks the glass wall. She intends to take her own life. She won't give them what they want. She wishes to see the criminals and those who are watching the live stream in hell. She jumps off the building. Gil-ho sees her body on top of a car. The police doesn't let him get near to her body. He screams out in pain. At that time, he sees Kay driving away. Gil-ho is hit by a car when he's chasing after Kay. He can't do anything but to watch them flying away. Gil-ho fainted away. Before Jae-hee jumped, she sent a voice message to Yeseo. She was about to call but was afraid that her friend would change her decision. The next day, Captain Kong signed a certificate. He sadly carries the jar of ashes. His daughter blames him for causing their death. She shifts all the blame on him and then leaves. At night, Gil-ho is burning all the photos of Jae-hee and the phone that she used to send the voice message. Gil-ho calls Soo-in with another phone. He asks her to tell Kay to cling on to Mr. Choi and he's coming to Kay. While Seo-jin is packing up, she notices a file of Hakgu, so she appoints to see him a while later. She arrives at an old eatery. She sits down and talks to him. She shows him the evidences of the crimes of Gangnam Commercial Company and Mr. Choi. If those are revealed, prosecutor tax misappropriation will be out, including his relationship with Hakgu. Choi Takgu isn't afraid because he prepares it in advance. They hear the fat man chopping a chicken. Hakgu always notices and admires Min Seo-jin. He is recruiting her to his team. A few days later, Kang Dong-woo picks up a girl from a nightclub and drives her to the customer. He's learning more about this job. Dong-woo is assigned with another task to a nightclub. He enters a room and sees a drunken girl. She attacks him with a sharp piece when he wakes her up. The guy with pin-like hair is so talkative. Dong-woo threatens him with a glass splinter. Actually, he just takes the scarf of the guy with pin-like hair to wrap around the girl's wounded wrist. Kang takes her out, leaving the blonde guy there cursing at them. Dong-woo asks the girl about a pill. Also, he's curious about the one who messes up with the whole Gangnam. Soo-in suddenly appears, gives Dong-woo money, and takes the girl away. Captain Kong takes a photo of them and writes down what he collects. He receives so many messages and missed calls. Captain Kong had come to see Moon for a talk. Chol-sung criticized Kong for Jae-hee's suicide. Dong-woo had to understand that Moon had tried a lot to transfer him to the countryside, which helped cover the truth that Dong-woo didn't protect his witness carefully. Captain Kong has caused too much damage to the police. Dong-woo had no right to be in the team. Commissioner Moon didn't think it was Dong-woo's fault. Yeseo made friends with Jae-hee, which isn't Dong-woo's fault. Even if Captain Kong gave up his badge, Yeseo wouldn't come back home. Gil-ho is watching Mr. Choi's men. He finds their location at night. He opens the trunk and carries the gas inside. While arranging the drugs, Dione gets scared when Gil-ho appears because he believes that Gil-ho already left Gangnam. Gil-ho finds strange pills next to the bottles of wine. Gangnam Commercial Company is going to launch their new product. Gil-ho pours gasoline over them, though Dione is trying to cover them. Dione claims that the director with a wrinkled face made him do it. After knowing who he is, Gil-ho throws a lighter at the gasoline. The next afternoon, when Prosecutor Min is going to work, the reporters surround her asking why she gets a promotion so soon. Everything is normal until Boo-ji questions Seo-jin about her relationship with Tak Ju-il. At night when she's going home alone, Captain Kong calls her name. He wants to give her an information. Dong-woo gives her a new drug named Neon, popular in the nightclubs. The investigation was cancelled due to the lacking of evidences. However, Seo-jin feels very uncomfortable. Because Dong-woo is no longer a detective, she demands him to go get the criminal instead of talking to her without evidences. The next day, Seo-jin comes to the office of Mayor Woo. His wife really cares about the fraud by loans. She is giving him a few useful advices from the holes that she has found. Seo-jin is working for Choi. She gives him the certificate of changing the land use right. Mayor Woo already signed it and he'll send the rest in the new few days. Tak Ju-il screams and throws the files at Seo-jin as soon as she returns. Getting no scared at all, she talks back to him. His secretary announces that the procuracy is taking everything in the office away, as Tak Ju-il is her boss. It should have been her who takes him to the police station. Seo Jin shows him the arrest warrant. He is accused of taking bribes and misappropriating. It's too late when Tak realizes that she works for Mr. Choi. Investigators from the procuracy already arrest Tak. Captain Kong is standing at his door and hears a noise from inside the house. He picks up a fire extinguisher for an attack, but it's Jang Ho. Both of them talk about Dongwoo's missing daughter on the rooftop. Dongwoo discovers that Jae-hee's account is still available. It keeps moving around Gangnam. Dongwoo sends a direct message to ask if there is Yeseo. Receiving the response, Dongwoo is sure that Yeseo is hiding in Gangnam. They go downstairs to Kang's place. Kang shared with Jang Ho the info he collected and the pill. He detected that whenever this type of drug was traded, Yeseo's position is in a mobile tower. When Kang goes back to the old nightclub, he sees and follows after Soo-in. She is treating the wound for the girl who was Dongwoo's passenger. He drives them to a clinic near a road junction. They don't know that Gil-ho is following after them. Dongwoo leaves when the girl's wound is treated. Gil-ho appears and gives Dongwoo a blow. Though they haven't seen each other for a long time, Gil-ho shoves him to the ground. How dared you promise to Project Jae-hee? Your apology can't take her back, so don't ever interfere in my business again. Gil-ho lets Soo-in know that Dongwoo is related to Jae-hee's death. Soo-in first time hears about it. Yet, it was Jae-hee's choice. Gil-ho asks her for K's whereabouts. She hears that K is working for Mr. Choi and trafficking a new drug named Neon. Following Jae-hee's last words, Soo-in doesn't give him more information about the video. Gil-ho throws something and expresses that he doesn't care. He only needs to know where K is. The next afternoon, K receives a lot of messages from a group chat. He knows where the drug users will hold a party and try Neon. When Dongwoo is suspicious of the yellow car passing by, when Jae-hee's position is spotted near there, he believes that is Yeseo. Captain Kong immediate storms in. After analyzing the case and Gil-ho finds that Choi Hak-gu is the key, Soo-in shares a location with him so he immediately gets there. Dongwoo enters a room where people are dancing without music. Dongwoo puts on the headphone. They wear headphones instead, in order not to bother the adjacent building. However, he bumps into a girl. A guy wants to give Dongwoo a lesson. The guard call for more of them to handle their fight. K is calling Soo-in. He asks her to bring their girls away from the chaos. She notices that Jae-hee's account is online and the location is the nightclub, raising a doubt. She gets there to check it out and finds the one who is throwing up is Yeseo. Kong is in trouble when fighting a group of guards. Seeing his daughter passing by, he throws the guards and chases after her. Yet, he can't get through the door. He screams out and bangs against the door with his head, but he can't break it. He watches Yeseo leaving with the other sex workers. Soo-in drives them away. Kong chases after them. Regardless of his wounded head, he tries to run after the car to save his daughter. At that time, he is hit by a car. Choi ordered them to get rid of the detective who disguises as a driver. K asks his hireling to knock Dongwoo senseless with a bat. When they're leaving, a black car speeds up and hit them. Looking through the rearview mirror, K realizes Gil-ho. Gil-ho opens the trunk and rescues dying Kong Dongwoo. K calls out his name when Gil-ho carries Dongwoo to his car. K wonders if Gil-ho is still hanging out with the police. For the past time, K can't forget Gil-ho who gave him a scar on the face. 7 years ago, in a cafe shop Gil-ho hit him with a helmet. K attacked him back. Gil-ho grabbed a chair and hit K in the face. They still have many things half done with each other. Gil-ho holds a knife and they're about to fight. The police is coming so they withdraw to avoid troubles. Gil-ho stops at a construction site. He leaves Dongwoo there. Dongwoo holds Gil-ho back. He believes that Yeseo gets there to revenge for Jae-hee. Gil-ho doesn't care if Dongwoo can't find his daughter. It's Dongwoo's business. Dongwoo now knows how painful it is to lose his beloved. Kong rushes back to the clinic to ask the injured girl about Soo-in. He calls Soo-in with Min-hee's phone to ask about his daughter. Dongwoo begs Soo-in to release Yeseo from danger. Captain Kong wonders why Soo-in is helping those girls. Soo-in lets him know that those girls volunteered to get there. Yeseo ignored him when he called her name in vain. Min-hee takes back her phone. Kong has lost his composure. He holds her back to ask about K. He wants her to tell him everything she knows about Gangnam Commercial Company. Min-hee doesn't know anything at all. Kong bandages up his wound, then going to find K. He sees Min-hee standing on the stairways. She tells him something she knows. Earlier, Min-hee was too high to remember K's whereabouts. Dongwoo remembers that he did pass the nightclub by. Gil-ho is also there to find them. Hearing a sound, they go deeper for a check. They see no one there. Kong knows Gil-ho wants to catch K and the manager of Gangnam Commercial Company. He doesn't really care. Gil-ho lets Dongwoo know that it's Choi Hak-gu who runs the company. someone appears out of a sudden and knocks Dongwoo's head with a fire extinguisher. The tattooed guy continues to hit him. Gil-ho kicks him away from Dongwoo. The attacker begs for mercy, yet he finds a way to fight back. In the end, Gil-ho can still knock him out. Psyche mocks at the late Jae-hee. Gil-ho ends Psyche's life by crushing his head with a fire extinguisher. Kang Dongwoo fails to stop Gil-ho. Psyche knows he can't survive, so he presses the remote to show them a room filled with different type of drugs. Soo-in is thinking about the earlier. She watched the video which the rich men had been hunting for. Jae-hee sent it to her before committing a suicide and demanded Soo-in to share it with Captain Kang, who can handle the criminals. Kay comes and checks out on the girls who don't act normal. Walking around, he reaches Soo-in. She reckons that he has figured it out, yet he just kicks those who don't look good out. Kay hopes Soo-in will try her best. Mr. Choi said once everything was solved, Hak-gu would let him control nightclubs all over Gangnam. At that time, Psyche gives him a call. He screams with apology. Gil-ho just sneaked in. He smashed everything here and took Neon away. Hanging up the phone, Psyche finishes his mission then leaves. It's not that easy. Gil-ho knocks him senseless. Kang and Gil-ho tie Psyche up and discuss the next plan. Captain Kang notices something. He finds a hidden camera. It turns out that Psyche fooled them. There was a hidden camera here. Soo-in calls Dongwoo and tells him that Yeseo is the same as him. You guys are really a family. She asks him for help. Take all the bar girls there to the rehabilitation center, no matter how long it takes. Please don't give up on them. They won't be abandoned ever again. Take a quick action or else your daughter will end up like Jae-hee. As soon as Kang gets the address, Kang asks Gil-ho to get there with him. However, Gil-ho stays there to meet Kay and his gang. One of them have to risk his life here. Soo-in knows, so she'll take an action before it's too late. All the girls are shocked when Soo-in knocks the guard with a glass bottle. At the same time, Gil-ho is playing with his lighter while waiting for the gang. 3 men in masks appear and discharge smoke at Gil-ho's face. Soo-in tells Yeseo to leave as Dongwoo is coming and she keeps the other girls there. When she's about to leave, Kay arrives. He hits and locks Soo-in in the room. Her phone is empty. She already went beyond the limit. As a result, Kay takes her life with a knife. He brings all the girls in the car and announces Choi that they get Gil-ho, yet Dongwoo isn't there. There's someone else more valuable than him. No one is there when Kang arrives. Dongwoo calls Soo-in and hears the phone ringing from upstairs. Going upstairs, he sees her dying. Kang tries to stop the bleeding to save her life. Soo-in tells him her last words. The memory card in the teddy bear contains the video that Yeseo wants to give him. Dongwoo takes the memory card out of the teddy bear. Jae-hee filmed the moment when Choi and his team testing the new drug. They forced the bar girls to take the drug first to see its effect. Captain Kang calls Jisoo and tells her everything. She also collects a few clues from Min Seo-jin. Suddenly, Dongwoo receives a message of an address. Dongwoo gets there and encounters Seo-jin's assistant. She tells him about Seo-jin's plan. So far, Min has worked for Mr. Choi to get a chance digging into his plan of drug trafficking. He wants to talk to Seo-jin on the phone. Dongwoo can share the video with her as long as she promises him she'll wait until Dongwoo gets his daughter. Out of there, Seo-jin is going to the VIP area of Gangnam Commercial Group. Mr. Choi arrives when they've waited for him for a while. The party hasn't started yet because someone hasn't come. Seo-jin is stunned when that is Tak Ju-il. More surprisingly, Choi will let Tak hold the position as the PM of Justice. Seo-jin gives them each the perfect contract reviewed by both lawyer and prosecutor. Next, Mr. Choi shows them the girls who are chosen to test the new drug. However, the girls couldn't see those men. When they enter the building, they have to leave their phones out. Kay asks his boss if he should take Gil-ho's life. His boss wants to handle Gil-ho by himself, so Kay needs to keep an eye on Gil-ho. However, Gil-ho wakes up and knocks them out. Choi Hak-gu wonders if Seo-ji wants to join them. She gets mad at Tak's arrogance. Choi Hak-gu asks his partners to choose a girl who'll test their drug. His staff bring in Neon and Neon Plus, which will be launched in the next 2 years. Definitely, it'll be a phenomenal. He gives each girl a shot of Neon, so they can see the whole side effect. When everyone thinks she'll die of the side effect, Hak-gu admits that is why he produces Neon Plus. The fastest way to get rich. When the girls get shocked, they cure her with Neon Plus. They feel relieved when it works. Once again, the girl fell to the ground with a convulsive. Dongwoo is trying to sneak in and rescue them. The partners reproves Hak-gu believes that it's up to each body. The partners grow cross when they invested lots of money, yet it fails when a partner is going to make a noise. Hak-gu's henchman scares him with a gaze. Hal-gu asks his partner to watch the whole test. If the result is 50% better, the test will be considered successful. He carries out the test on the last girl, Yeseo. Yeseo is very afraid when seeing the other girls getting a convulsion. Seo-jin reminds Hak-gu of entering the contract to buy more time, when the drug is launched nationwide next week. Everyone here will make enough money and then relax like kings, that's the purpose of this project. That sounds reasonable, so Hak-gu ordered to halt the test. Gil-ho calls Dong-woo to ask about what's going on. When Dong-woo sees a gang coming to handle him, he tells Gil-ho that Hak-gu is testing his drug on the girl's body. Jae-hee filmed it. Yeseo is in danger. Hanging up the phone, Dong-woo uses a weapon to knock the gang down. Gil-ho arrives on a motorbike when they attack Dong-woo back. Gil-ho threatens them with a flame to make way for Dong-woo to rescue the girls. Hak-gu persuades his partners to sign. They'll be bound together with a responsibility. Tak flies into a temper after reading the contract. Why Hak-gu will get 51% of the profit while only 49% for the rest of them. He asks for another number which favors their cooperation. Tak risks his life on such an insane project. Will they get the money we deserve? Dong-woo with an injured arm encounters K's boss at the door. He knows clearly that Dong-woo is finding his daughter, so he teases the father, "Your daughter seem not care for you." After that, he brings his gang there and challenges Dong-woo to get upstairs for his daughter. Dong-woo shows them the evidence. Hak-gu also shows it to everyone on the TV screen. Dong-woo asks if they're looking for this, Kim Jae-hee's video. When everyone is curious about the shouting man, Hak-gu remains calm and orders to keep going on. Tak wants to know what's going out there, because it's his right. Dong-woo sends the video to the chat group of Tak and Mayor Woo, with the PM of Health and Welfare. Tak sees himself in the video. Dong-woo shouts the name of Tak Ju-il and Lee Hanbyung and Baek Ji-man. The girls are going to die. Do you care for them? K's boss orders his men to catch Dong-woo. Tak wants to tears Dong-woo apart to take the original video. He tears the contract and asks for 50-50. Hak-gu smokes and warns Tak not to talk to him that way. Min Seo-ji calls out his name. A moment later, Tak gets a shot. This is also a warning to the other partners. He says anyone who doesn't agree with the clauses can speak. His partner signs and runs away. The partners obediently signed. Dong-woo and Gil-ho are fighting with the guards as there are too many of them. Gil-ho sacrifices himself to make way for Dong-woo. K's boss gives Gil-ho multiple stabs. Gil-ho counterattacks timely and ends his enemy's life. Hak-gu invites Yeseo a drink in front of Min Seo-jin. He already knows who Yeseo is and he wonders why a good girl like Yeseo making friends with Jenny. When he mentions Jae-hee, Yeseo attacks Hak-gu with a knife. Hak-gu can easily knock her senseless. Also, he realizes that Yeseo and Seo-jin know each other. Dong-woo calls out his daughter's name. Hak-gu is controlling Yeseo. He threatens to give her a shot of drug in front of Dong-woo. When Seo-jin cures her with Neon Plus, Hak-gu runs out. Dong-woo lets Seo-jin take care of Yeseo when he runs after Hak-gu. Yeseo stops her father from shooting Hak-gu. Dong-woo puts the gun down when his daughter is safe. Suddenly, someone pulls the trigger. It's Gil-ho who is covered with his own blood. He recalls the good old days with Jae-hee who dreams of a peaceful life. Dong-woo and Yeseo visit the tombs of their late friends. The footage in which the politicians testing drugs goes viral, thanks to the clues. The police destroys the drug smuggling operation. Thus, the launch of Neon and Neon Plus will be cancelled till doomsday. Min Seo-jin takes the stand and supports the investigation. She talks about her lonely journey. 10 years ago, prosecutor Tak approached her. He asked her to prosecute an innocent man who was missing. She was blind by money. When she discovered a criminal organization associated with the politicians, she knew she was too weak to fight them. Min Seo-jin admitted that she ignored their crimes and became their accomplice. She is willing to pay the price. The next day, Dong-woo is assigned to handle a riot. The victim claims that a crazy man beats them up with a bat. Following the trace, Dong-woo sighs with relief when seeing Gil-ho. He continues doing his mission when Gil-ho leaves. The end. Thanks for watching. Leave your opinion on the comments section below. Goodbye and see you next time.